LEEF Brands just issued a press release that they closed a private placement, and I've been covering LEEF for some time on my YouTube channel. It's the only cannabis company. If you are new to this channel, I suggest you watch my video #1, where I explain the thesis, and the link to that video is in the description below. But for now, I'm chatting with Micah and Kevin. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
So first of all, congratulations on closing this private placement. It seemed like forever, but finally we got it there. So what's the amount that you ended up closing?
Just a hair under 2.2 million Canadian.
Okay, so let's talk about what you're planning to use the money for.
Use of proceeds. So as you know, many people may or may not know, so we've got 65 acres of cultivation that we're going to be activating on our ranch in Santa Barbara County called the Salisbury Canyon Ranch. So a good chunk of the money is going to go towards state licensing fees and getting that 65 acres planted, harvested, all the labor that goes into it. That's going to give us what we believe to be a significant bump, both top line and bottom line on 2025. So it's going to be a good thing, good use of proceeds for us. We are looking at some out-of-state expansion efforts as well. So some of the money will be going towards that. You know, we've done a great job of building our business in California. We've got an impressive list of clients that are doing well in other markets. And I think that the time has come for LEEF to take a real look at moving out into some of the markets where these clients already exist. So some of the money will go towards that. And then we're going to set aside a good chunk of money to go towards marketing the public side of our business. You know, we've been pretty quiet over the past couple of years, and feel that 2025 is going to be a solid year for us. So now's the time for us to start talking about the company a bit more.
When you say going and expanding to other states, do you plan like from starting from scratch, or does it involve maybe buying somebody else? How does it work?
Good question. So we've got a couple conversations that we're looking at. I think that the short answer to the question is that we'll be buying our own license. We want to be in control of our own destiny, no different than we are in California. The good news is that there's some opportunities that don't really cost a lot of money and will give us a very quick ability, or a quick way of getting into one of these markets that we're looking at. So I think come Q2, hopefully we're done with that. Over the years, we've collected a lot of equipment, you know, constantly upgrading capacity in California, right? And as we move into these other markets, these markets aren't necessarily as big as California, so we don't need to have the same type of newer equipment that we have in our lab up in Willits. So we've moved a lot of the older equipment that we have. That's going to give us a very quick, cheap way of getting into market. And like I said, you know, we already have orders waiting for us. So companies want their products to be the same in other markets as they are in California, and that's where I think that where our value is going to be when we enter into these new markets.
You said that part of the money will be used to bring your farm into operation. When I did the interview with you before, you talked about how the farm is important because it's going to help you on the yield of your equipment. It's going to help you improve margins because now you can grow cheaper than it is that you can buy. But you also said that you can grow revenue. And that's the part that I would like more explanation, because what was stopping you from growing the revenue? Like, why couldn't you have just done more buying from other farms and grow revenue? Why is the farm part of growing the revenue?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We're going to get predictability and stability off of this 65 acres in a way that we haven't had in the past. So there's been a lot of cultivation companies that are no longer with us in California. And historically, since the inception of the company, we've either spot purchased or we've had contractual agreements with different farms throughout the state of California. So our goal, our plan is to keep the largest ones that we currently have still in existence. And the 65 acres will be in addition to what we've done in the past. So it's not necessarily a replacing of, a cheaper product for something that was once more expensive. It's in addition to, and it's going to allow for us to streamline the ebbs and flows and supply chain that happens in California. And what that does is it allows for our sales team to have predictability in inventory and really build sales momentum. We've struggled in the past sometimes where we get momentum going and then the state sells through, a majority of the product that's on the market. And then we have 2-3, months of stagnant sales because there wasn't enough product on the market. So we have a plan in place where we're not just going to grow it, blow through it in 3 months. We're going to strategically use that material over a calendar year. And that's where we're going to see that top line growth. It's going to allow for us to build our business in a way that we haven't been able to do.
Kevin, do you have any thoughts?
No, yeah, really just providing a baseline and predictability, like Micah said, is going to really fix the ebbs and flows that we currently experience. And like you said, that's really going to allow us to grow top line with this.
Yeah. One thing I would add to that too, that just, customer service is at the top of the core values for the company. Right. And so there's a customer service element, a service that we're going to be able to provide from the farm with our existing clients that we haven't been able to provide, which is basically work with them on landing genetics, their evergreens that they need for the year in our nursery. We'll propagate them, we'll cultivate them for them, and offer this kind of service on the ranch. They bring in their team. If you want to do a corporate event, we're going to host the whole thing. This 5 acres goes to your brand, and it's going to be a good way for us to go wider with some of these clients. So I think that we're going to see a benefit from that as well.
You said that when you have your own farm, you can grow specifically to get better yields on your equipment. How is the growing different to specifically target yield?
So it's less about cultivation style. We primarily focus on sun-grown cultivations. Sometimes we run indoor material, but not as often as sun-grown material. So where we see the increase since the inception of the company, we've been collecting data on strains. So we know what strains perform well through the hydrocarbon line, which ones perform well through the ethanol line, the solventless line. I mean, we have enough data to where we can dial in golden batch type things. So long as we have a large enough supply chain or chunk of that type of material, it allows for us to dial in the machines. And so what we'll do is we go through the list, we look at all the data and pick the strains based on that. Of course, there's consumer demand and all the rest, but we pick strains that we know are going to perform well geographically in the Santa Barbara region, and then as well through our extraction line. And we will see anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 5% increases running that material versus going around spot purchasing from different farms and then not really being able to dial in the machines to cater towards that batch of material because the batch of material wasn't big enough to start with. So the strategy is we're going to have big blocks of consistent material over 65 acres in 25. And then, moving into 26, as we expand into the permit size is 187. We're only doing 65. So we've got good growth in front of us over, 26, 27, and we'll just start to increase the sizes of that, just, furthering the yield increase.
What about your biomass machine? You mentioned a little bit about what else can you share?
Yeah, again, I'm going to somewhat keep it vague, but we've been working with a company that we're excited about, and it's a way for us to harvest or run the material through a post extraction machine, and we're seeing very good results as a result of it. So we think that we're going to see yield increases and terpene quality increases beyond what we've been seeing just through our own methods. So from a bottom line perspective, we can turn let's just say you get a 50% increase, you know, off of material that you wouldn't have received if you didn't run it through the machine. We can turn that 65 acres really into 90 acres worth of material because we're seeing that much of an increase from it. So huge impact directly to the bottom line.
Wow. Any final thoughts you gentlemen might have about, you know, the private placement, the proceeds, or LEEF in general?
I've been talking the whole time. Kevin, why don't you take that?
No, I would just thank the group of investors that came into this round. We're really excited. We think that this is a starting point for what's to come in 2025, as we were just saying. And yeah, just thanks for the support in coming into this round.
Yeah, I would double down on that. You know, just thank you. You know, everyone that's helped us out. We've had some shareholders come back in, and we've had some new shareholders come around. So, you know, thank you guys for coming in. Raising money right now has been different. You know, it's challenging, and I think it's a testament to that. You know, LEEF has something positive going on moving into this next year.